Go live. There we go. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today we've got an interview with my fantastic coach, brother, aka ThinkShare Zach. And welcome back to the channel, Zach. It's an honor to have you back. And welcome back to the channel. It's awesome to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. And today we're going to be grilling Zach on some questions that he's already prepared and that I've prepared some of my own answers to later on within this interview. So, yeah,
You're not supposed to tell him that. It's supposed to sound off the cuff, dude.
I'm going to let Zach introduce himself and what he does. And I'm sure for the new people that are here who don't know Zach, I'll let him talk about himself and welcome himself to the channel and introduce himself a little bit.
Okay. So my name is Zach Watson. I'm 29 and a half years old. I live in Massachusetts, in America. I have a YouTube channel that I've been working on for the past couple of years where I share, I think, a lot of insights that I get from all the books and the stuff that I don't really read. I'm more of an audiobook guy, but I like sharing a lot of that stuff. I'm a teacher, so I like sharing it ideally for the better of my students. Originally, it started because I was a math teacher, and typically the administration or my coworkers would get upset with me if I was teaching things other than math. So this was sort of my outlet to share sort of life skills and advice with my students when I didn't have time in class to do so. So I started creating that way, and since then I've done a bunch of different kind of things. I do the other day I made a tutorial for how to do a logic puzzle, which is similar to Sudoku. Back in January, I did a music video rapping about climate change, trying to educate and create a call to action in a song. I've had a lot of fun making music videos, which I wish I had like a team of people to be working with, so I could just write lyrics and they could help me kind of develop the rest. That'll come someday, I hope. But yeah, I really like trying to create my own almost genre of music, which is educational, and like I'm trying to be more skillful with my lyrics, etc. So, and I met Gemma back in, what was it, April 2018, I think. We've talked quite a bit since then. I'm helping her work on her goal right now. Well, actually, Sherry demolished her goal for April 1st of scheduling five speaking gigs talking about autism awareness for various organizations. And I cannot really even take a whole lot of credit for that, in fact.
Yeah, and Zach is a big part of what I do, guys. Like Zach has said, I've known him for quite some time. We've been building up quite a good relationship, and he's helped me with a lot of my self-confidence and my ability of doing YouTube with my social skills. He's had me on his channel numerous times, and we go backwards and forwards, and we suggest things to each other. Like he's saying, he's right now working me as a coach, and I admire what he does. He helps me set reasonable goals. And like he said, I've achieved my goals already quite a lot, and I'm wanting to push myself, out that comfort zone because it needs to be done, and I need to be more confident in myself. So Zach does that a lot with me, and we exchange ideas, and we've been sending each other sort of quotes and ideas, and I kind of talk to him all the time about different stuff. So Zach is an inspiration, guys. If you do want to seriously consider having coaching or motivational advice, do go over to his channel and check him out. He's an awesome guy to get to know. He'll really help you, support you. He's a very loyal friend, and he's become my brother in a way as well. So I look up to him a lot with regards to that kind of thing. And he's very just encouraging, supportive. He's also an author as well. I've got his book over in my side in my wardrobe because I'm still reading it. I take advice from it. So yeah, you can talk about a bit about your book, Zach. Tell everyone about your book.
Let's see. The book I wrote in 2016.
Hey, Tony.
It was.
Hey, Judy Ron.
I was originally reading or listening to this book called "The Monk That Sold His Ferrari," where this This guy is a lawyer. He has a near-death experience, goes and becomes a monk, and then comes back. And then the whole book is him talking with one of his old colleagues about everything they learned as a monk. And one of the things that he was told was like he was not allowed to stay and be a monk forever, and he had to go back and share everything that he had learned with people. And I feel like I had gone through. I feel like this sounds weird saying this, but like a little bit of a spiritual awakening. I took this course called the Landmark Forum and a bunch of other courses with Landmark, as well as I started reading for the first time since like 6th grade. Like half my life had gone by and I hadn't really read anything. And so I was listening to this book and realizing that I really wanted to share all the things that I had gained in the past couple of years. And
hey, the straw life.
And it was actually, so that night I was listening to that part of the book. I went to I was working on my master's degree.
Thank you, nice. Judy Ron. That will be going to Zach straight after this. Thank you very much. The donation. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Judy Ron. But yeah, so I was in my master's class and I just didn't pay attention that entire class, and then just wrote probably a third of or a quarter of the book or something. And then
hey, Sarah.
So the book itself is Ideas Over Coffee, and it's just 104 different things that I've learned that have improved my life, whether that's a new habit that I've picked up. One of my favorite ones that I shared with you recently was when I go to restaurants, I love just asking the person to sort of surprise me. I might say, I'll take some kind of chicken and you do the rest. Like you have fun. Like looking at menus is a waste of my time. Or something like my other favorite phrase is stop shoulding on yourself. So I stopped using the word should in my vocabulary. So that's what the book is. It's 104 little nuggets that have really changed my life.
I must say the book is an absolute gold dust. Like, you really need to get your hands on a copy of it. I am still reading it. It's fascinating. It's very, very accessible, easy to understand as well. The wording is very easy to follow through with. It's a very, very good motivational tool book if you need something to help you guide you along your path for your milestones that you want to do. It's very, very well written. Zach talks a lot from his personal experience of how he's achieved a lot of things. It's a very, very inspirational book, and it does give you that motivation to get up, succeed, do things. It challenges you a lot, and it's definitely worth a read. If you do want to get your hands on it, I do guarantee go on Amazon.com, type in Ideas Over Coffee, you will find it, or Amazon.co.uk if you're in the UK like I am, and they do have it available in their store. So go and check that book out, and like I say, get yourself a copy, because I have, and I read it several times and do read it right now. So yeah, we're going to get into some questions for Zach right now that he's actually preloaded and got ready for me. So question 1 is, what is the book or books you've given most as a gift, and why?
So back in 2014, I read this book called The Defining Decade. It's a book about your 20s and how a lot of people, like in this century or in this part of life, have gone about doing their 20s. And I think a lot of people think that in their 20s, they're supposed to go party and like explore life. And I think that book does a really good job of explaining kind of how that's just not as accurate as people think it is. It's a bit more dogmatic, and it doesn't really serve us that well. And I think it really helped me see a lot bigger of the picture. They say that in the book, it talks about how your 20s, if you use it right, can either be a trajectory for like having a really awesome life, or it can be kind of a way to, like, if you don't utilize your 20s well, it can also be a hindrance to the rest of your life. So it's like a launching pad. Not high school, it's saying your 20s is kind of launching pad. So I think since reading that when I was 24, having that knowledge for 6 years was really I think, valuable. It helped me see the value in getting married a bit earlier. I got married at 25. Helped me see that, starting YouTube or creating the book and like having a couple of those things that would be awesome to have by the age 30 instead of while I'm 30. That actually made kind of a big difference. So I love giving that book to people, especially that are like straight out of college. It talks a lot about identity capital and how, your first job out of school doesn't matter a ton. It does matter that you're doing something kind of interesting. So don't go be a coffee barista, but go do the thing that doesn't pay and it's really interesting and you learn something about yourself or you learn something about something,
Yes.
And they have a lot of great like stories that it's written by a psychiatrist, a sociologist that works with a 20 something population. And she kind of addresses a bunch of things that come up in a lot of their therapy sessions, and really wonderful book, especially for someone straight out of college.
Nice. That's really fascinating, especially about the psychology side of things. I know because you read a lot of psychology based books. I know you're very into that kind of field of work and with your teaching and stuff. That's the relevant way of interacting with people, and it fascinates me that you're very into people's kind of personalities, and it's really great because you show that you personalize yourself with people. You're not just this person who's a teacher and then you switch off. You're very much people person, and that shows through your reading and your intelligence. You're very, very intelligent that way.
Yeah, and when you watch my music videos, you'll discover how goofy I am too.
Yeah, well, of course, being goofy is a given. Like everyone has a goofy side. I can be goofy. I can be woohoo stupid.
So many people just don't show that they're goofy though. Like I feel like everyone has that side, but just so few people let that out for the public to see.
Yes. So question 2 is, what purchase of $100 or less has positively impacted you in the last 6 months or within recent memory?
I kind of want to go get it. Hold on. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm going to go get it.
Okay.
Got to get on my crutches.
Give me a second, guys. I'm going to grab Zach's book so you guys can actually see what his book looks like rather than me just linking it, because it is sat right here on my side because I keep it on my bedside cabinet. So while Zach is getting his ideas together, this is Zach's book. Camera focus, please. Focus. Thank you. This is Zach's book, and it's a very, very good read. Like you can see, I've read it several times. The actual pages are bent because I've been reading it. So yes, this is his book. If you haven't seen the Amazon link I dropped, this is what it actually looks like, the copy of it. So yes, I do have it on my bedside cabinet all the time. It's never leaves my bedside cabinet ever.
Emma, thank you for advertising for me. I appreciate it.
Welcome. It's a really good read. Like I said, I believe in the product. I believe in you and what you do. So
thank you. So this was, I think it was like $25-$30.
Oh,
the 5-minute journal.
Yes, I remember that.
One of my goals this year was to journal to start a journaling habit. And I think one of the hard parts for me is whenever I sit down to journal, like with an open, like just blank lines, like I'll end up writing for half an hour till my hand hurts. The issue is it's kind of hard for me to incorporate 30 minutes of journaling in every day. So having prompts, which is actually how I started journaling back when I was like 6 or 7. My parents got me a journal that had a bunch of questions like, what was the weather like outside? What did you do today? How did you feel today? All those things. This is similar, but a little bit more specific. So this is how it looks. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't say anything too weird. So it asks you for the day up top. And then it gives you either a quote or once a week it gives you a challenge. So last week's challenge was to not complain. And this week's challenge is today, get rid of one thing that you own that no longer sparks joy. To KonMari something, pretty much. But yeah, it gives you a quote, and then it says, I'm grateful for, and then it asks you 3 things you're grateful for. It asks you 3 things that would make today great. So I think a lot of people think of what will make their day great will happen because it will happen to them rather than because of them. Like I remember when I first discovered this idea that I was very much in control of my life. I was asking someone like, what would make your day great? And they were like, if I got a raise, that would be sweet. But like, yeah, but like, what could you do to make your day great? And they just didn't get that concept at all. So I think that's a really great way to train your brain to think that you are in full control of how your day goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the third one, which is like, it's a little weird getting used to, but like once you get past it, it's pretty good, is the daily affirmations. So saying, it's like, if you guys didn't notice, I was on crutches when I got up to walk. I tore my ACL and I have a chipped piece of bone in my knee. I got surgery on Wednesday. But for
Please
daily
send some well
affirmations,
wishes in the chat, guys. Send some well wishes for Zach in the chat. He does have surgery on Wednesday, so let's put some prayer emojis and some smileys and things up, so that will make him feel a lot better.
I mean, so here's the thing. I feel great. Like, yeah, my knee kind of sucks right now. Like I can't walk on it, I can't put weight on it, but like through the daily affirmations, like I think the past like 5 days I've been saying daily affirmations. I am strong, healthy, happy, and loving.
Hey, Brian.
And
Mark had a question for you. Mark said, is the book available in audio? Because Mark is visually blind.
Ideas Over Coffee. Yeah, I did that audio. It's available on Amazon Audible.
Okay, there you go, Mark. That's your answer. If you go onto Amazon Audio, then you should be able to find it so you can listen to it. I think Mark's interested in getting it, I think. So
thanks, Mark.
Yeah, Mark's a good buddy. He's a UK. He's visually blind and he has impaired hearing. So yeah, he's a really good buddy. So question 3 was, how has failure or apparent failure set you up for better success? And do you have a favorite failure?
You know, I think a lot of people might not call us a failure, but it's kind of
hey, Angel.
It feels like a strange answer to the question, but this is what I came up with. Was when I first started doing some rapping about learning, like I made a rap about slope, like math. I did the Pythagorean theorem. I made a rap about why I have a pride flag in my classroom. None of them did that well. And they did not do nearly as well as I thought they were going to. So my first really bad video, my very first music video, was called Gucci Gang. Or I remixed Gucci Gang and I tried to make better lyrics. And that has like 5,000 views on it or something. And these other ones, none of them have broken 1,000. So I think in terms of my expectations for failure, which I figured, this will get like a couple thousand right off the bat. Boom. And none of them have fit that. Even the climate change one, where I thought I did a pretty good job making clickbait, like I don't think that's cracked 600 yet. And so what the value in it and how it's set me up for success, I think, is only making things that I want to exist, not because I'm trying to sell it. So I feel like any YouTuber that spends a solid amount of time working on things, one of the first things I feel like a lot of people do is they like grind out like their first 1,000 subscribers. They're like, that's like the end all be all, like gotta get 1,000 to be anyone, right? And I think any brand new YouTuber, like that's like one of the first milestones that they're super, super excited about. And then you get to there and then you think, oh, I got to get monetized. And that's like a huge push. And you're trying to create till you get monetized. And I think, so I got monetized back in 2018.
Yeah, I remember that.
and so it was I was doing daily videos back then, and I made this video for the Super Bowl reaction. So I'm a Patriots fan. When the Patriots lost to the Eagles, which was a pretty big upset, my video got like 86,000 views or something. And so like it was really cool at the time. And what I realized after that, for maybe a couple months, I started making content that I thought would sell well. I didn't keep making content that I enjoyed making. And I think going towards that and just creating to try to sell kind of ruined my enjoyment of making videos. Like it had a whole new feel to it. And even like my wife, like she didn't kind of like who I was becoming from it. And so I think the failure there is looking at certain numbers or certain metrics for what we think success is. And so I think for me, it was the subscriber count and it was the monetization. And, you know, it's kind of in the back of my mind, like, oh, I got to make something that'll do well. And so I guess the failure, which is about to happen, is so I've had a viral video that's gotten up to, I think it's 190,000 views. And I had a huge, like 2,000 subscribers came in like a couple weeks, which is, I'm at like what, 4.5 or something thousand. So
yes, I've got your channel up here. Actually, you are on 4,360 subscribers right now.
So like the last time I had a big bump in subscribers, and the last time I had a ton of watch time was last April. So my time for being monetized is actually about to run out, because I'm pretty sure it's like every 12 months you have to be getting your 4,000 watch time hours. So my year of like riding that long wave is about to be over. So I think that's going to help me get back a little bit to making things that I want to make, or just making for the enjoyment of making it, rather than I got to be producing something that my subscribers will like.
Yes, definitely. I think we all had that worry in the back of our heads about the subscribers and the monetization. Yeah. Like for me, it wasn't really a goal at first. It wasn't till I got to my 2K, then everyone's like, you've got to start pushing for this, Gemma. You know, you've got to start getting monetized. And I don't know why I pushed so hard for it. I really don't, because it's never been my focus. It wasn't my intention ever.
Yeah, I think that might just be like it's like a vortex that all of us sort of enter into, especially when we were spending, you know, a couple hours a week working on videos. I think that tends to be a direction that all of us kind of go, and we get excited for, you know, those viral things. I'll still get absolutely excited about if something goes viral. I think, of course, but the place that your mind is when you want to be creative, when you want to be creating and putting your best version of yourself out there, gets a little bit diminished when money gets in the way, or when some success almost gets in your creative way. So I would say that that's the failure that I think is going to set me up, is the ending of my monetization and the flop of a couple of my videos that I thought were going to do really well.
Oh, okay. I'm going to put this into a spin for you, I guess, and kind of challenge myself at the same time. I wouldn't necessarily say that not having monetization is a failure. The thing is, you have other ways of making success for yourself. It's about your message and what you are wanting people to see from you. I don't think necessarily that you're failing. It's just the fact that, yes, the monetization is nice and it makes you feel good, but at the same time, we should go back to our core value of why we started YouTube in the first place. And for you, it's always been about the positivity. It's about the acceptance of people, and it's about involving people in their own lives and getting them to go out of their comfort zone. And for you, having that educational background and that special awareness about people and disabilities, especially with you, you're very, very aware of how people function. You're very aware of what makes them tick, which is why one of the things I love about you, because you're very, you know, with me, there's certain things that make me tick, and you're like, oh, okay, Gemma, so what about if we do this, and I'm like, damn, how the hell can he figure that out? And then I have to sit here and play over my head. I'm like, well, that was lame. Why did I write about that? That was silly. That was stressing me out for what? Nothing. And then I have to think, oh, well, there's always a situation I can overcome it with. So it's just about the positivity and spinning it back to our original content. For me, I don't think you're failing at all. Nowhere near failing at all. You're not. I think for you, you are building up to something bigger and better because you have a purpose, you have a mission statement of what your goal is, and you've always stuck to that. You've never been the person to back away from it. You've always been very head on with what you've wanted, and you are successful. You know, you may not see that, but you are successful because you're achieving things. You're going into coaching. That's a big part of who you are. You are a natural coach at that aspect. You are very driven. You're very motivated. You have that confidence about you. And whether you see that or not, I know you do. And you're very encouraging. You're supportive. Whereas with me, right now, I'm anxious as hell doing this interview, but I'm not sharing it because I know I'm with someone that I adore. I know that I trust. I know that I've built up a relationship with you, that I can pretty much say anything within reason. Mm-hmm. And to me, like, I'm sitting going, oh my God, like if I screw this up and then inside my head I'm going, no, shut up, Gemma, like everything's good and yay. And so you're not failing at all. Your mission is very obvious and what you do is very clever. And I think a lot of people don't see that because when they don't get to know you or they see little content from you, they think, oh, where's Zach? Like, is he okay? And people tend to panic. Like if you disappear for a while, like I have, and then I come back and then like, oh, now Gemma's back. I'm like, yeah. And it's not until you come back and start doing content again, people go, oh, one of my favourite content creators is on. So they'll go in and click it because they want to see you. Yeah. So it's a case of you're not failing at all. I would not say you're failing. You're succeeding. You're going in a different direction, which is your true mission. It's what you've wanted to do for quite a while. And we've talked privately about this before. I think the thing is you need to believe what you're doing is a new time for you. It's an exciting time because you're going into what you want to do. You're a very interesting person. You have a very loving personality about yourself. You're very empathetic. You know people and what makes them tick. That's interesting to me. That's kind of the mindset I'm trying to get into. So you're not failing by any stretch.
Well, thank you for that. I had a hard time answering the question, so thank you for completely invalidating my best answer to that question.
Okay. So it kind of leads nicely on to this next question. If you could have a billboard anywhere with anything on it, metaphorically, what would it say and why?
So I think that my favorite quote of all time, at least I'm pretty sure it is, the one that seems to come up the most is from Henry Ford. Maybe people know it. I'm pretty sure it's Henry Ford's most well-known quote. It's, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I think people just don't value enough of what's going on in their brain. They don't recognize that whatever it is that they're thinking, whether they think they can or they think they can't, like they're going to prove that sort of subconsciously. So if I say, I can't make a YouTube channel, or I can't write a book, or I can't become a teacher or an engineer, whatever, they're based on whatever's in their head. They're going to do everything in their power to back up that statement.
Yes.
So I think just having people recognize that their thoughts create their actions and their actions create habits, and they are what their habits are, that mental thought patterns are pretty freaking powerful. And I wish people understood that better.
Yeah, so I think for me, I think if I could have a billboard and what I would have on it is to accept people who are different, because if you make one assumption, so for me it'd be accept people for who they are, because you don't know what they're going through. So it's just about being aware of who that person is and their situation, because for me, someone may come onto my channel who's new here, and they may think, oh, okay, her channel is disability focused, she has a disability, but they may not know I have autism. So I sit here and I go, oh, yay, I can act like everything's good and calm. And then they look on another video and go, oh my God, she's throwing an absolute fit. And then they're going to panic and think, what the hell is she going on about? So it's kind of, people perceive things in a different way. It's just about making sure you accept the person for who they are. Like, I adore Zach. I can sit here and praise him all night long. I can say all the good things about him. I can say to motivate him, encourage him, make him feel special as part of my channel. He is a moderator here. He's been a moderator here for quite a long time. And I can sit here and go, well, this is what Zach does. He does this really well. But at the same time, I won't do it about myself. But I can do it and sit here and praise Zach about it because I know what to say about him. But for me, I don't do it for myself because I don't see myself that way. So it's just making people aware of who we are and just to accept people because we're all different. We all have a different mission statement and mindset, whereas mine's very on the go all the time. I can't slow mine down, whereas Zach, he's able to reason with me a lot of the time. He's able to get me to calm it and slow down, whereas a lot of the time I'm like, bah, 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 bah. He's like, no. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's how I'd answer that one. And then the next one is, what is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you have made?
So I can probably have a couple answers for this, but I think there was one first investment that caused the rest of them, and that was the Landmark Forum.
Hey, Dave.
If I know that it exists in I forget how many countries now it's in, but the Landmark Forum, it's a 3-day course. People go in it, and it's a conversation of what it is to be human. And I think a lot of people forget what has made them the way they are. And it's almost like an opportunity to remember what makes you tick. And they're conversations that you hear yourself in people that you never thought you would hear yourself in other people. And it transforms who you are as a human being. I think a lot of the things that make us tick, we're all of a sudden aware of it. And once we are aware, we are no longer run by it. It's sort of like if you're wearing glasses and all of a sudden one of them went gray to black and you could only see out of one eye, you would start living a little bit differently, only being able to see one eye. And you just think, oh, at some point you might forget that you actually have another eye to look out of. And it's like they unfog the screen and you can remember, oh, that's right, that thing fogged up a while ago. Maybe someone got their heart broken and they said, love isn't for me. And then they can be like, oh, that was a decision I made. That's not the truth necessarily. So I think a lot of people have those aha moments in that course. And along with the Landmark Forum, the Landmark Curriculum for Living. First course is about you. The second course is more about you and the community. And you sit there, and it's a long, rigorous course. It's similar to Tony Robbins in that you're there and learning about yourself. It's different in that it's a very different kind of energy. Tony Robbins is people are off the walls, they're jumping around, they're screaming and doing whatever. And it's I hope someday I have enough money I'm just going to say I think I'd like to do that course someday. Landmark Forum is a very different energy. Third course is the Self-Expression Leadership Program, which really changed everything about me, which was, they tell you, create a community service project that impacts 1 or 2 communities in your life. We're going to coach you for 3 months in having the conversations that you need to have. In doing that, you discover all these obstacles that you have never gone up against, because no one is really out there going to create community service projects. So you're forced to talk about what you care about to people in your community. And when you force yourself, I think my favorite homework assignment from that course was you had to make 2 unreasonable requests per day. And so every day, like you got to find somewhere where you want something and just be like unashamed and be like, listen, I have an unreasonable request for you to give me $100 right now. So, you know, something crazy, but like we, I could go on for hours about Landmark probably, but I would say if anyone is interested in having like, I don't know, just like life epiphanies, if things are not working and you've done a bunch of stuff and nothing's really changed it, Landmark Forum could be a really wonderful resource for you to make a change that you've been trying to make that just nothing's been working.
You can always link about the Landmark thing if you want to drop the information in the chat for people who want to maybe get to know more about you and how
I have to log in on YouTube, don't I?
Yeah, you have to log into the chat. Yeah.
Wait, can I do that through the StreamYard website, or do I got to do it on a different?
Yeah, you should be able to post in the StreamYard chat. I can post a comment in the chat on my end. It should allow you to post a comment. It should be a chat.
It says private chat though.
No, there should be there's a private chat, and then there's a public
comments.
chat. Yeah, live comments. There should be a box down the bottom saying post a comment. You should be able to type in there.
I'm not seeing anywhere where I can actually type in down there.
That's okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it up on my.
Either way, if people are interested, it's I think Landmark Worldwide is what they can search.
Okay, so that Landmark Worldwide, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I can Landmark Worldwide. Oh, here we go. I've got it. I can copy it and put it into the chat on YouTube on my phone.
I will say one strange thing, but similarly potent about this course and this company is that they don't do any formal advertising. Like, yes, they have a website, but they don't do any marketing. The only marketing they do is through word of mouth. So like, you won't ever see a commercial or a billboard for it or an internet ad. It's only through word of mouth. So when people talk about it, like I was just talking about it, like people are really excited about it. Or there are some people that have gone into it and have been too confronted and too, I don't know, they just can't handle like being human enough to have those conversations, and they hate it. That's been my experience of people that don't like it. They can't. It's like, have you ever been around someone that's just so self-expressed and unapologetic for who they are? It makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like that's the type of people that embrace this course, is people that are unapologetically themselves. And if you're trying to become that person, it's a great place to go.
Definitely, I'll drop the link for people so they can get more information about that in the chat. So the next question we've got is, what is a unusual habit or absurd thing that you love?
This was another hard one to answer. The best answer I could come up with was rapping about things that no one really raps about, and like trying to make educational rap. I find it really fun. Sometimes like I call it the muse will just kind of hit me. By the way, my dog keeps coming in here. I don't know if you guys can see her, but if you hear the squeaky, it's because she's handing me things to play with her. Or if you see my arm going like this, it's because she's playing tug of war on the side.
Hello, doggy.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So rapping about things that no one raps about, that's one thing I very much enjoy doing, / writing like spoken word poetry to de-stress.
Yes.
You and me share that, so it's not all that uncommon.
Yes, we do. Very much so. Oh, yes.
And so the best example I can give of that is 2 years ago when I was in a higher stress environment than I am right now, at a school where a lot of the teachers, a lot of the parents were, you might call a helicopter. They are very concerned about their child's education and how class time is being spent, etc. I would get a lot of emails from parents not being happy with me having, life advice conversations in class. If it's not about math, you're doing it wrong. So sometimes I would have to cool down, and I would just write poetry on my prep period so that I wouldn't explode.
Yes.
So that was one thing. And the other thing I wrote down, which I don't know, this feels almost like a not so humble brag, but I read this book called What Makes You What Doesn't Kill You, and it talks about Wim Hof. Wim Hof he's a world record holder for multiple things in terms of being cold. Like, he has the world record for longest swim under like an iced over lake or something.
Yeah.
So during the winter, I really enjoyed this year running when it was really cold, in like just a t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
So my record was, I got out there and ran when it was, I think, 9 degrees, and I ran like 3 miles out in the cold like that. So I got a hat on, I got gloves and a t-shirt, and I'm just out there in really cold weather. I think more so than they said that there's like a lot of health benefits to it, but I just love the mental aspect of it. I just feel like a total badass, and I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. You got to work your way towards it. So like, first you do it in 40-degree weather, then 30-degree weather, 25, and you work your way down. Like, I didn't get down to 9 degrees just because I was like, oh, I know how to run. I'm gonna go run in 9-degree weather. No, you got to work your way down, because it will be very shocking, and you want to make sure that you Rocka Gaming. Is he talking to me? He's talking to me?
No, that's a troll. I've had some trolls coming in here trying to say some stuff, but I've not reacted to it.
Your YouTube channel is about gaming. Like, get a life.
I've not reacted to it. Look,
Well done.
I'm not reacting to it. I saw it on my phone because I've got the chat up on my phone. And I'm like, nope, I'm busy.
I was watching the one of your videos with you had 3 people together, and I thought someone had it. I'd probably say the same thing, but I thought the way they said it was like, remember, they hate themselves more than they hate other people, and so they try to take that self-hatred and put it on someone else. So
hey, Eli.
That's about the best advice that can be given that I heard from one of your friends there.
Yeah, I'm not reacting to trolls, which is why I saw them on my phone on the chat. So I've got the chat up on my phone. I'm like, nope, not reacting. I'm not gonna get stressed. I'm not gonna get into a sensory frigging panic and whatnot. So yeah, in the last 5 years, what new belief or behavior or habit has most improved your life?
So I would say I'm going to say 2 of them. One was, I was at a classroom at Landmark, and the idea was that when you wake up in the morning, you have an alarm, and you you set the alarm for X amount of time, say 6 o'clock, and you hit the snooze button multiple times, and you actually get out of bed at like 6:30. You're lying to yourself first thing in the day. And after hearing that, I was like, wow, what kind of relationship do I have with myself if the first part of my day I'm just lying to myself like a lot? Like, I was that guy that had like 5, 6, maybe 7 alarms. Like, I'd have the first couple alarms were the same sound, and then I would have another alarm that was a different sound. Now, I totally appreciate some people do like waking up slowly, or they like my wife Alyssa, like she likes setting an alarm, like having it go off, and be like, oh, I'm gonna have to get up soon. I hate that idea. I recognize I'm totally avoiding waking up when I hit the snooze button. I totally intend to get up at that time, and then I'm just lying to myself. So some people it's different.
I do it too.
And I appreciate the people that do that. That's definitely not me though. So
hey, Jean-Woo.
Back in 2015, when I heard this, I did the first time ever. I had a really hard time sleeping that night. I set one alarm when I had been doing like 5, 6, 7 of them. And I was really nervous that I was going to snooze button the first and only one and then miss work or be super late to work or something. I was so nervous that I put the alarm like 5, 6 feet away. So I had to get out of bed to turn it off. And I haven't really looked back since. Since that day, pretty much all work days, I have my alarm a couple feet away. I'm up within about somewhere between 5 to 10 seconds from when my alarm sounds. And that's been a huge, huge difference just in like way more ready to go for life. And I don't feel like I'm not lying to myself first thing in the morning. Helps me get going. Second thing I would say, the second like perception or behavior that I've discovered is, I guess it's more like a thought pattern, is like in any situation that sucks, trying to consider where I can take responsibility. Now, I feel like I sound wise right now, but in the moment when I'm trying to get there, it's not as quick to happen. So
You're always wise.
Careful what you say. So like, there are definitely some times when, my wife Alyssa will point something out to me that has happened. And, first thing I'll want to do is not blame me, blame her for it, blame life for it or something. Sometimes just when I'm in an argument or a conversation that's heated, stepping away for a couple minutes and looking, all right, Zach, let's get off it. Like, where can I take responsibility for this? And really trying to own it. I'm not always able to own it. Sometimes I'm still very upset about it and don't want to take any responsibility. But I think if the person that is able to take responsibility for things that happen in their life is a powerful person. And I think as long as I'm interested in being a powerful person, then I can listen and look for where I can take responsibility. So I would argue that our President Trump is not a very powerful person because he does not take responsibility for anything negative. That's just a sad reality of our country that makes me sad.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think we can say the same about the UK though in that aspect as well, because the UK doesn't take a lot of responsibility for any of their actions, whether it's positive or negative. And the thing is, especially with right now, all of a sudden the UK is now deciding to go, oh, we better do something because now all the children are out of school, and now all of a sudden, oh, we better help protect people. And it's like, well, that's a bit too late because I've already had to do stuff to protect myself before all this new guidance come out yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this should have been done weeks ago. But then again, it comes down to being proactive. It's about taking care of yourself. Self-care is vital. It's about motivating yourself, doing the right things you know to do. Like for me, it's keeping my routine as close to my original as possible, keeping my confidence to the point where I'm doing things that I should be doing. Otherwise, I know I'm going to start sliding into my anxiety, my depression, my negative thinking. And also for me in the last 5 years, that's kind of with the motivation, like especially with Zach, he's been with me a long time. And for me, if it wasn't for people like him being there to constantly remind me and go, no, Gemma, stop doing this. No, Gemma, how about this? And I'm like, oh no, stop that, Gemma. Come on, like you can do better. So it's about having that motivation constantly, because the more motivation I get and the more positivity I get put into me, the more like I am to stop that negative downward spiral. You go, well, hold on a minute. No, hold on. So right now I'm in a good place, but I know full well I need to keep backing that up. It's not just yes, this is good. Woohoo, yay. It's the everyday chasing up of the process going, no, stop, do this, do this, do this. So it's very important to keep that process going, because if you don't, you'll lose track. So yeah, it's very important to just keep on the positive things rather than letting the downward spiral destroy you. I know I've let my emotions control me a lot recently, to the point where I've nearly given up on several occasions and doubt myself that I can do anything. And Zach's had to go, no, Gemma, come on, like stop doing this. And we've had private calls earlier. He's like, but Gemma. I'm like, oh, okay. And I've had to rethink. I'm like, oh, So it's not as bad as I thought. Okay, and then I've changed my thinking. So Zach's really got that knocked into me to the point where I'm like, stop, that's enough, and then I can do things. So yeah. So the next question is, what advice would you give to a smart, driven college student who's about to enter the real world, and what advice should they ignore?
So a couple things I would say. So I'm going to write down what I wrote first, and I'll back it up a tiny bit. So I said, go on a pursuit of what jobs make you happy, not which ones will pay off your loan debt the quickest. And if you can't find a job that does that, work on a hobby that could eventually become a profession. Also, if you can invest in
Hello,
real
Mr.
estate
Fulton.
and house hack, work on building identity capital, not necessarily just financial capital. So a couple of those words are from that book I mentioned earlier, The Defining Decade. I was an engineer for 2 years out of college. I studied engineering, and those 2 years, I really did not like the work that I was doing, and I ended up switching over to teaching. And I think it was good that I experienced what some engineering was like, or at least it was software development. And I thought it was super boring, and I recognized that that company was not for me. And I recognized also, like, me in a cubicle working on something individually is not my thing. I really like working with people and interacting with people all day. So I'm an extrovert, and teaching is something that is well suited for extroverts, in my opinion. So I think finding something that matches your values or and what makes you happy is very valuable. And I think if you go towards something that's going to pay off your loans, I think that the conversation I had with myself that I'll always remember is, okay, I was getting paid like 66,000 as an engineer. And to become a teacher, I would have to cut half my pay to like 30,000. And so I said, all right, I am paying off my loans, and I get to ball out on the weekends a little bit. I get to go out to bars and
Hey, DP.
spend like larger amounts of money than I would otherwise. And if I become a teacher, I won't really get to do that. So I know there's a lot of people out there that have this feeling like, okay, if I grind it out and work really hard for 40 hours a week, I'll then get to really enjoy my weekend. But that's like 40 hours a week, and then the other, 50, 60 hours of the commute time. And, maybe you are resenting where you're headed to or how your day went. And then you trade that 40, 50, 60 hours a week for, the 32 waking hours of the weekend that you do enjoy. But if you find something that you enjoy 5 days a week, then you get to enjoy all 40, 50, 60 of them, and the weekends, not quite as much because you don't have as much money. But I think looking at time is the most valuable resource that we have as human beings, because we have finite amount of time. Not wasting it and enjoying as much of it as we can, I think was more important than I realized. And I'm sure plenty of people hear that advice all day, and I think some people might just have to experience one of those jobs that they're there for the paycheck and then switch over to something that they really like, or vice versa, to really appreciate that. And that might not be advice that you can take without experiencing it. The other thing is, go ahead.
No, I was just going to back you up a little bit. I was going to say, for me, if I was asked that question, I think for me, the advice I would do would be like, concentrate on the area that you want to get into. Find out everything you can about that area of interest. Make sure you know the entry requirements. Make sure you know what companies to get into contact with, because a lot of the time when I came out of college and school, I had no idea how to do any of that stuff. I had to find everything out for myself. You need to have that connection with people. So if that means a family friend or someone who works in that field, find out what it's like to work in that area. Find out what qualifications you need, because if you don't, that shows lack of initiative, and employers won't want to have you in there, especially if you want to go into, say, engineering or a technical field. They're not going to be interested if you don't have that interest and that knowledge. Do the research. Always pre-research the place that you want to work at. or college that you want to go to, or sixth form, because they'll benefit that. They'll show that you're interested. That shows that you're genuinely interested in what's on offer. So make sure you always do that. So that's one set of advice I would give you. Also, try your very best to hang around the positive people, because back in my college days, I will admit right now, I didn't. I hung around with some questionable people, and that probably did ruin part of my college study life for me, because I kind of gave up a lot of my time and I shouldn't have done. And so again, I'd say to get yourself in the right mindset. Don't let negative people drag you down, because I did, and it cost me part of my education. So don't do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I think finding community that really supports you and what you're interested in is big. I thankfully haven't really had any environments that have been poor for my creativity. Some I think have been better than others, but none of them have really been bad. But that other part about, like, you know, if that's not really an option, where like you have ridiculous student loans you got to pay off, and it's really hard to find something that you enjoy that pays any of the bills, at least, you know, take up a hobby and spend tons of time on that. Like, I discovered I really liked making YouTube videos and talking on live streams and stuff. And I'm glad that I've picked up this hobby, and it's something that, you know, by age 35, I'll have had 7-8 years of experience of it. And the only advice I would have given myself is start a little bit earlier. But I didn't even know that this was something I wanted or enjoyed. And then the other thing, so I will say this with a grain of salt. I know, at least in America, house hacking and or investing in real estate by getting a multifamily house and living in it and having renters pay your mortgage makes a lot of sense on paper. And it can my wife and I have gone through quite the trial with renovations and fixing things and not having rent for a long time. So I can't actually say that I've seen necessarily the really positive side of it yet. But I know that if someone is interested in real estate investing and they want to get moving on it, listen to Bigger Pockets podcast. It's a really good place to hear where people started, where they got to. It just has a lot of good advice from people that are in similar situations. I think probably 80 or 90% of people that talk about real estate investing and wanting to be in it have done 0 deals. So they give a lot of great advice for those brand new newbies, which I was 2 years ago, and now I've gone through a gauntlet of problems over the past couple of years. But this right here is a 2-bedroom apartment, which is on the bottom floor of a triple decker. There's a 2-bedroom apartment above that and a 1-bedroom above that. And they pay a rent minus $600 per month. So the whole thing is like about 80-90% of our mortgage is paid from renters. Now, we do own a business. Our taxes are a bit different, and there are some stresses, but I think that we're setting ourselves up to be in a really good financial place in the next couple of years. And, you know, and at some point when we finish off the mortgage, like, it's just going to be straight cash flow. Right now, if we are able to finish refinancing and able to get $600 taken off our monthly payment, we can live here for completely free and actually get a little bit off the top. But
nice.
if we weren't living here and paying rent for, you know, $1,000 somewhere else, we'd be getting paid like $800 a month or something.
Wow.
So the other fun way I like to look at it is, as a real estate investor or owner or property manager, I guess you could say, you can break it down into how much the rent is and how much it pays per day. And so for us, it's like $100 per day we get by having renters. So some days you have to earn $100, some days you don't have to earn it, and you just exist. So the day when one of the pipes gets messed up and you gotta go work with the plumber, call him up and figure some shit out, like, that's the day you earn your $100, or the day that it snows and you got to go shovel everybody out and make sure all the walkways are clear because you don't want to pay for a company to come do that. You're actually earning the $100 versus some days you just wake up and you earn money in your sleep.
Yeah. So the final question that I've got for you is, when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do to get refocused?
I know a couple things that have helped. I have a couple like go-to like YouTube channels or people that I listen to that really help me. One is Tim Ferriss. He's actually the source of these questions. So the questions that Gemma's reading to me right now, he made a whole book out of.
Oh, okay.
Squeaking down there, you squeakerton. But yeah, so this book, if anyone's ever heard of Tim Ferriss, you know, he's a great guy.
Yes,
he wrote the 4 Hour Work Week.
Things.
He wrote the 4 Hour Body, 4 Hour Chef, Tribe of Mentors, Tools of Titans. I think all of them were New York bestsellers. But he has a podcast he's been doing for I think like a decade now, which is consistently on like the top 10 business podcasts. But he's always interviewing, you know, people at the top of their profession, usually names you've never heard of, which is kind of fun. And he asked them these questions. I totally forget where I was going with this. Oh, he's one of the people that, like, you know, if I recognize, like, all right, Zach, you're being a bum, like, let's pick it up here. If I listen to one or two of his podcasts, usually I'll find something that motivates me into action. Another guy I found really valuable to listen to is Gary Vaynerchuk. I think his YouTube channel is Gary VEE. And his whole thing is like social media marketing, loving yourself, appreciating yourself, patting yourself on the back. And like, he's a really great guy to listen to. I've actually signed up for his texts.
Oh yes, I did that the other day.
He sends great stuff. Like what he sent something like earlier this week was so good.
Yeah, I signed up to that I think a couple of days ago, and you texted me about it. I signed up to it.
Yeah, like Thursday, he sent, when you realize you control your mood, everything gets better. Sending all of you a lot of love and hope you see how much you can control and enjoy during these challenging times, and look for solutions on the shit you don't control. Sending a lot of love, heart. So like, I don't know, he's great.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
But yeah, those are the two main ones I listen to.
That comes down to a really good thing that we can talk about actually in a further live stream, I guess. Having that mindset to control how you react to stuff. And Zach, oh my God, it's taught me so much about this subject in depth a lot. When I get into a place of negativity, and Zach has seen it recently when I've gone into a really bad sensory meltdown to the point where I avoid people for days, I don't talk to people, I shut myself off, I isolate on purpose. Mm-hmm. And he'll come up to me and go, "Oh, what's wrong, Gemma?" And I'm like, "No, well, this, and this." And he's like, "Right, okay, what's triggered you?" And then at the time, I'm so unable to physically get it out of my head that I can't talk about it. And then Zach has this way of breaking down the barriers in my head so I can go, "Oh, well, I did this yesterday and this triggered me, and then this." And then he's like, "Well, that happened. That was temporary. That's gone." I'm like, "Yeah," but he's like, but nothing. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Next one." I'm like, this. He's like, "Yeah, but that's temporary. Yeah, that was a situation. You dealt with it. You're good now." And I'm like, "Oh." And he makes sure that I'm on board with stuff, and he'll be like, "Yeah, but Gemma, that was temporary. It's not now, is it?" "No," but he's like, "But what?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he kind of makes me forget about stuff, and he'll go, "But you know, that's temporary, or you know, like you can get over it, and you can do this and this." And I'm like, "But that," and he's like, "But," I'm like, "Okay, I've got no way out of this because I know full well Zach's gonna challenge me to think otherwise." And I'm like, "Wow, why did I panic about this crap? It was so stupid." And like now I sit here and I'm like, I could easily spout off a load of rubbish right now and go, "This is stressing me out. This. And Zach's gonna go, 'Gemma,' and he'll look at me. I'm like, Nope, not going to do it, because I know full well there's an answer for it and a situation to overcome a lot of the stuff. So again, it's about mind over matter half the time. And with me, it's a thing that I need to focus on it being, I can resolve it, I can overcome it. Does it have to drag me down? No. Does it have to stop me? No. But I let it, because in the time I don't necessarily see my mind that way. I kind of go, okay, bang, done. I don't want to do anything. Whereas now I'm like, do I need to react to that? No. Like with the whole trolls thing just now, I could have snapped. I could have gone, oh my god, trolls, nah. But I didn't. I didn't even pay mind or attention to them. I was just like, busy, I'm busy, and I ignored it. So it's a case of mind over matter half the time. Exactly, Sarah. Your comment shapes it up. So yeah, Zach has a very good way at being a coach, and he really does have a lot of wisdom in his knowledge, and he's very capable and knowledgeable on areas that he talks about. Like, again, I will plug his book. His book is a very, very good idea about that. He has a lot of knowledge for such a young person, and he has such a good mindset
Gemma,
about things.
Aren't we the same age?
How old are you?
29 and a half.
I'm older than you.
By how much?
I'm 32 in October.
So we're in high school for 3 of the same years.
Yeah.
Or 2 of the same years.
Yeah, I have a very different mindset to Zach, and I have a different way of thinking about things, whereas Zach is very knowledgeable, he's very structured and order, and I like that about him because I can relate to him in that kind of way, because my brain works on logic. So it's the kind of thing that Zach is a very good teacher. He has that instinct. He gets to know you very well. He has a lot of knowledge with his, like I say, his book, like in the way that he talks about it. Like he says about conventional ideas. It says on the back of his book, people constantly meet up their favourite local coffee shop to share stories, opinions, laughs, and ideas. This book was inspired by what I constantly found myself sharing with others, whether it was coaching to a friend, advice to a student, or simply pillow talk with his wife. So that kind of explains that how he is and what he does. And this book will challenge you, trust me. I have written so many notes inside this book that I've actually highlighted pages of it. I'm just like, okay, I need to work on this today. And every time me and Zach talk now, I have this book next to me and I'm highlighting section by section on it. It's a really good, thought-provoking, challenging book. If you need some wisdom and ideas to self-boost yourself, and ideas to start a business, things like that, grab your copy of this book, because I read it all the time. Like you can see, it's actually bent up from where I've read it so much. The pages are actually curled, so it's kept on my bedside cabinet. Grab yourself a copy of this book. I did link it in the chat, and I will link it in my video description after this is uploaded, so you can go and grab yourself a copy of that book, because you will benefit from it. I have, and I read it all the time. So yeah, it's a really great book of way to get yourself motivated. Also, if you're interested in coaching, again, I will push this, because Zach is building up his coaching business. He is a successful coach. He works with a lot of people, with students, and he's working with me. Like I said, he's doing a lot behind the scenes work with me. If you're interested in coaching, please reach out to Zach on his ThinkShare channel, and he'll get back to you. Comment on his videos, because I can guarantee 100% you will feel challenged. And there'll be questions that sometimes you might think, how can I do that? Trust me, he will push your buttons. He will help you. He will make you feel good about yourself. Consider it. Challenge yourself to a coaching session. I dare you. Because trust me, you will feel the benefit. You might think, oh, this is going to be hard. Yes, it will. It'll be uncomfortable. But aren't we meant to push the box of uncomfortability? Aren't we meant to go, you know what, we can do stuff regardless if our head's going, oh my God, no, don't do that. Like, why? And I've had that moment with Zach. I've had it several times, and he's like, but are you done now? I'm like, yeah, okay. So please go and contact him. Please show him some love and respect. He's a really good guy.
And Gemma, I'm going to add on to what you said there. So in terms of coaching, the missing part that I've seen for a lot of people when it comes to achieving their goals is accountability.
Yes.
I think a lot of people say goals, and some of them actually write them down. And usually that right there, just describing in very fine detail of what your goals are. That's like a huge step in the right direction. But from there, a lot of people know what they have to do. They just don't do it. I do that myself sometimes. And that's why I work with my father-in-law.
I have my notepad.
We text each other every night, whether we've done the actions towards what our goals are. So that's what I provide for people. Now, I think for every person, every client that I'm going to work with, there's going to have different needs. So I think Gemma, like, she gets down on herself, and that's one of the things that I often am doing with her, is clearing all that bullshit out of her head, so that she can get back to knowing how awesome she is. And some people don't have that challenge. They're very self-confident, and the only issue is doing, and having someone to hold you accountable. Sometimes some people, it'll be a phone call once a week. And I talk about this in my book, how I got the book done, which was having an accountability buddy. It was once a week, for 45 minutes. I would talk to my coach, Christy, and I would say, okay, I said I was going to write chapters 43, 44, and 45. This week, I got those first 2 chapters done. I didn't get that 3rd chapter done because of X, Y, and Z. That's a bullshit excuse. I'm just going to get rid of it, and I'm not going to let that stop me next week. Sometimes it's just having someone to say that to is really important. And so that's what I'm offering for people, is really just, I'm not trying to give you guidance in what your goals are. So if you want to become rich, I don't have the answers for that. But if you know what you need to do, and you just suck at doing it, despite knowing how useful and valuable it is, I'm your guy.
Yes, Zach does a lot of informal teaching. Like, if you check out his channel and go over and pay him some respect, and you'll see what he's about. And like his book, like I said, I've plugged it a few times. This book will explain everything that he has done, what he goes through. This book is a really good way of getting to know yourself on a more better level. Like you said, this is part of what I would say his coaching is, because he talks about his own experiences, what he goes through, what he's done. And for me, I found it actually a really good motivational tool to get myself back on track. Like Zach has said, I often get down on myself, and I sometimes not intentionally use an excuse, but I let my autism sometimes control me. And Zach's taught me that I can overcome that with a lot of things. And I'm like, just because I'm autistic doesn't mean I have to act like a dumbass, or I don't have to let it stop me and control me. And a lot of the time I do sometimes get overwhelmed so much with the sensory issues, with irritations in society, that I go, oh no, can't do it, can't cope, no, just gonna run off and hide and bury my head in the sand. And I'm like, nope, that's excuses. Why am I making excuses? Oh, because I don't know. Oh, it's not good enough reason. I should get myself back out there. I should try again and try again and try again. And I do. And Zach often is my accountability buddy when it comes to that. He's like, Gemma, so what did you do today? I'm like, yeah, I did this. Oh, did you do this? Why? That's not good enough reason. I'm like, okay, I need to get
We
back on
haven't
it.
even had that conversation before. The only conversations I've had with you is, I'm going to
Yes,
do
but
X, Y,
I'm
and
saying,
Z. And then you do X, Y, and Z. And then one of our calls I missed.
I'm saying as an example, like I can.
Right. And so our main challenge was like, you had like a downward sloping spiral of thoughts that just like dug you into the sand. And that was my job to get you out of there.
Yes. So Zach is very good with that, and like I'm loving the coach, and I like the daily text that he's doing with me and helping me to feel confident. And I enjoy our phone calls, because again, it gives me that challenge perspective. Like, he'll check on me, and he'll make sure that I'm okay, and I do the same with him. I'm like, hey, I'm checking in. How are you? Da, 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 da. And it's just having that accountability to go, oh, Jem, you need to do this today. You need to send this message. You need to do this. You need to do this phone call. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I put that time aside to plan that, so at least then when I do speak to that, I'm like, oh, I'm so good. Like, I've done this today. And he's like, oh, wow, okay. And then there'll be days where I'm like, I haven't done enough, but I know I need to do this. And it's a case of just keeping each other to account. And that's what I really enjoy about it, because it's that reassurance knowing that I can have that. So that's what I really enjoy. And I am getting stronger out of it. I'm getting better. I'm getting more infused, encouraged. I'm getting stronger in myself, and I can go out and do stuff. Like, I wasn't meant to go out, Wednesday, Thursday, because it was the beginning of the isolation period. here in the UK, I still went out and I did 2 talks and earned myself some money. But I was naughty. I shouldn't have done it, but I didn't care.
How many people have you spoken in front of by now?
Oh, wow.
That could be a statistic you should hold on to and keep track of.
I'd probably say I've spoken in 4 years. I've spoken in front of about 500 people, different groups. That includes the police officers, social workers, psychologists,
By the end of the year, we're
psychiatrists.
going to probably double that number, right?
Yes, hell yes, absolute hell yeah. I'm up for that. I'm gonna be smashing it. This year's gonna be awesome, regardless of this stupid crap that we're under right now. I'm gonna smash it.
As of this year, so you've spoken in front of what, 3 different crowds?
3 different crowds this year,
organizations, yeah. And you've scheduled how many get on books right now?
I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done 4 talks this year with another 3 scheduled, and I've just scheduled another one for Thursday because I was meant to do that 2 days ago, but I had to cancel because it was all isolation stuff. So that's been done on a video call on Thursday, and then I've got another one the following week on another video call. So my rescheduled ones are now rescheduled on video calls. So I've got about another 5 in the next week. So yay!
Badass.
And I'm being badass. I'm smashing my year. I'm going to have a lot more upcoming. I'm going to be working on videos for World Autism Week with them as well. There's going to be a lot more content coming out because as from next week, it's World Autism Month. So if you don't know about World Autism Month, there is a lot of websites out there that can help you with that. It's basically a way to promote autism within the educational services and out in the wider public. As everyone knows, I have autism myself. Even though I was late diagnosed, I wasn't diagnosed till I was 26. I'm now nearly 32. So I've had a lot to adapt to in the last few years, but I've smashed it and I don't let it stop me. It's something that I live with, an anxiety disorder, as well as, I don't know if people know that I'm anxious right now, probably, but I fiddle a lot. I'm quite fidgety. I move around and I'm trying not to because I know it's off-putting.
We can't tell.
Yes. So that's kind of me in a snapshot. And yeah, I think we've gone for an hour and 20 minutes. So I want to thank Zach for his time. I know he's a very busy person. I know he's got a lot to get on with. And I know I've got a lot to be getting on with my coaching stuff because I need to chase some people up and I need to do some work. And I need to get to bed I'm trying to get to bed by 11 my time, which is now 9:45. So I want to give myself a good half an hour bedtime routine before I settle down for sleep. But yeah, this has been a great, fantastic interview. We've really learned a lot. I think Zach's opened up a lot more about who he is as a person. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for this book to come out. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Once it comes out, I'm going to buy it because I want to hear it and be able to be the first person to buy it with a signed autograph, should I say?
Wait, say that again?
I want to buy your book when it comes out.
I don't have a new book coming out.
You just said a little while ago you're working on a book.
When? When did I say that?
You said it in the interview like a few minutes ago.
I don't think I said that.
You said something about you're doing a book and that's why okay, maybe I mistook it then. My apologies. But you said something about doing a book and I figured that was you doing a book.
I don't know what I was talking about. Well, my bad. I'm not writing a new book anytime soon. Although if we end up on quarantine for another 3 months, then maybe I saw from, I think it was Will Smith on Instagram said this morning that Shakespeare wrote King Lear while he was in quarantine from the Black Plague. So it is a good time to create things like that.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to wrap this stream up now, guys. It's been an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm sure Zach's got a lot of work to do. I'm going to go and do work myself and then get ready for bed. And so I'm going to smash tomorrow. I'm going to get up bright and early. I'm going to be working from home all day. I've got plans to do. I've got two video calls to do tomorrow. Yay. That's going to be fun. And then I've got 2 blogs to do as well. And I've actually got 2 videos to do tomorrow as well. So it's going to be a day of filming and conference calls. So, and I'll probably check in with Zach as well because I need a phone call. So, yes, I shall let that go for now. And thank you all for being in the chat. You've been awesome. You've been really respectful, apart from the trolls I'm not going to name. So,
by the way, that troll that I looked up, they don't
yes.
have any content. They have like 25 subscribers, no content.
Well, why are we not surprised?
Yeah.
Because they're idiots. So that's why I didn't react to them, because I want to show you that I'm not bothered. I want to show you that I'm not going to react to it, because like you told me not to react to stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what?
That's good.
I'm not. I didn't react. I didn't get stressed. I didn't have a sensory meltdown. I could have done, but I didn't, and I controlled myself.
Crushed it. Couldn't have done it better.
I crushed it. Yeah. There's ThinkShare's channel. If you want to go over there and have a look, please smash the like button on there, subscribe, turn it grey, the red button, ring the bell, because he does very, very good live streams and videos. Music videos are awesome, especially his one where he does the free hugs. Oh my god, that video is awesome. I've watched it so many times. It's a really, really cool video. Please go and check him out, share some love, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you, Gemma. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. No worries. Do you want to close us out?
Thank you all for watching. You've already said a bunch of the closing things. I'm going to say them again anyway. If you like this, give it a like. If you dislike this, give it a dislike. Say in the comments what you disliked about it. As always, stay mindful, keep meditating, and stay weird, humans.
Yikes. Thank you. And press that and that.